Hi, I'm Christine Weeks and I am the owner of Canvas Creations Painting Studio right here on Florida's Adventure Coast. Okay, so I've been involved in art pretty much all of my life. I was inspired by my mom's portfolio. She did these drawings of pinup girls. She went to Central Needle Trades in New York back in the day, and she would do fashion drawing, draw out fashions, and she also sewed. And I used to look at her portfolio of work, and I have some of her work here at the house now that she's passed away. But my mom kind of would draw with me ever since I was little. Since I was 2, she would draw like little TV guide covers and little greeting cards, and she would draw with me. And so I was drawing from when I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and I just loved it. That was my thing. I wasn't a sporty person. I was the last one picked for the team always. So I got into my drawing. Drawing was my thing. Never really did painting all through like up till junior high. And when I went into high school, I actually went to Columbine Senior High out in Colorado. And my art teachers encouraged me to try painting as well. So I did all different things. Watercolors, I did printmaking, charcoal drawings, ink, silk screening, learned everything out there. My teachers were amazing. And when we first moved here, I would do like signs for my job, whatever job I had. I worked at a little children's clothing store, and they would have me do signage and stuff. So I always used my art wherever I went. And then after having my children, when they were started at Chocochatty Elementary, they needed someone to do an after-school program. The teacher was unable to make it, and I said, if you need someone, I could teach. I used to do lessons in high school I used to tutor a couple of students in art. They had me doing that. So I started teaching at Chocochatty. The principal, Mr. Toloni, gave me my first opportunity, and I loved him for doing that. I've been there, this is my 24th year now that I'm still teaching at Chocochatty. I do drawing and painting. I teach their micro society, and I also do an after-school program. And the teaching aspect has gone into actually right here in my home studio. That's where the Canvas Creations Painting Studio came into play about 12 years ago. I had parents of the children saying, hey, can you teach me to paint? So I started doing painting lessons for adults. A lot of it was parents of the children and teachers, and they'd come to my house and we'd do similar to the wine and painting so that was the type of class that I was doing. So alongside with teaching, years ago at the school, Mr. Toloni, the same principal that gave me the opportunity to teach, had me paint some windows of classrooms, and when the parents came through, I had a few parents ask me, do I paint walls? And so I got my first mural job from just painting windows around the school. And so I did mostly residential to start, about 20 some odd years ago as well. I did residential murals all around Brooksville. I did doctor's offices, pediatric office down in Trinity, then a former teacher from Chocochatty, Cheryl Parody, she runs the environmental center, and she had a grant, and she wanted me to do murals out at the environmental center. So those were some of my first biggest murals that I did, where I did entire walls. She asked me to do a little corner, and I wound up doing the whole wall, and she was like, oh, wow, and then she kept asking me back. Recently, getting involved with the Hernando Fine Arts Council when they had the call to artists for Brooksville Main Street, the mobile mural program. And I was able to get in, I think it was the 3rd round, the Weeki Wachee round, where I did the Elvis and the Mermaid mural for the anniversary of the the 75th anniversary of Wekiwachi, and that was the first time that I was involved with the Arts Council in Brooksville Main Street. And then it was so nice to get involved with them because they really brought, they really help artists to, be seen. So it was very helpful, because then I did the second round and I won the People's Choice Award for, it was actually titled Chocochatty. It was for Native Florida, and I did two little Native American Indian children riding a horse, and it's actually Chocochatty bit on it, and it's hanging at Chocochatty, so it's nice to see that piece too. I also was involved with the City Hall Art Gallery, had my work hanging there. Pedram was also a very good supporter, encouraging. I loved when he would put a call to artists for their shades of purple, or the different themes that they would come up with. It felt like an assignment, oh, I can get into doing art that was for me. In the next mobile mural round, I was chosen to do a permanent wall. So that was on the back of the Gulf Coast Title building. It's a big, huge guitar, a Gibson guitar that it's 17-foot tall guitar. So that was a lot of fun. Being up on the scaffolding. My husband is my biggest helper. He's there he'll lay down background colors for me. He'll hold an umbrella over my head. He just always has supported me. So most recently, I did Welcome Om, a mural at Welcome Om Healing Center. It's run by Dr. Maria. When she wanted a mural drawn up for her healing center, I drew up a couple of designs for two different walls, and we wound up doing the one out front. And it's an interactive, they wanted it to be interactive, so there's a magnifying glass, and it's called Explore Your World, where they can hold their hand up to the magnifying glass, and it looks like it's magnifying all of these wonderful creatures that we're trying to preserve, and there's bumblebees and hummingbirds and all different flowers. So that's a huge wall that I've done recently. And after that, a gentleman met me out at Welcome Home, and he owns Spring Hill Outdoor Power Equipment, and he asked me if I could do a sketch for him for his side of his building. So that was a large mural. I believe it's about 80 feet wide by 12 feet high. And that was a challenging one because it's a metal building, and he had me doing it in sections. So we did a little bit, each month, a little bit. So it wound up finishing up in the heat of summer on the metal building, which is a little challenging because the paint dries before you can even get it to do what you want it to do. The grooves on the garage doors to make portraits, which is something else I do, of people on those grooves. It was very challenging, but very rewarding when you finish it. So I was really happy when that one was done. That was one of the latest ones I completed. Most recently, Tippecanoe Creamery, Teresa had me do, she wanted it to look like old Florida, some postcards. There's a mermaid one, little panels on her wall. So they're a little bit smaller scale mural, but that's what I'm working on currently. I have one more panel to complete, and so that's my most recent. If you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, or if you are interested in having a mural done at your place of business or your residence, you can reach out to me on social media, and I hope that my artwork inspires you and brings you joy.